Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633 and today I'm bringing a review of the Transformers 10th Anniversary Deluxe Class Beast Wars Cheetor. Now, this is the next review of my Blast from the Past reviews, and it's none other than one of my favorite Beast Wars toys made, especially in the recent age. The new Cheetor just really didn't do it for me, and it's kind of cool to finally get a hold of the Transmutate piece along with this figure I got a while back, so I did prefer this mold. Now, I could see why a lot of people think it's not that accurate. In some cases, yeah, it's not. Especially when you look at the cheetah mode, it's not the best in the world, but I really like it, especially for the robot mode. I think the robot mode is very nice, and even with the weird, usual kind of beast mode kind of head with the gimmick they were doing at the time, I think it works okay, since this is just the part on the back here, so you don't see it in the front. And it's kind of a nice touch. Overall, I think the toy is very cool, and I really enjoy this version of the toy than others because it is mostly based on the show accurate colors. But anyways, his articulation is pretty decent for a Beast Wars toy. His arms are on ball joints, and shoulders as well there. Can bend at the elbow all the way due to transformation. His head can turn 360 and just swivels. It's not on a ball joint or anything. This piece can kind of move, but that's not really an articulation point, mainly just for transformation. He does have a waist joint, but it's rather tight and stuck between the pelvis piece here. His legs are on ball joints, so it allows full movement on both sides, and they can come off a bit, since the figure is of a little relatively old age, so the joints are not the best in the world. He has another ball joint here at the knee. It can also bend around 90 degrees. His feet can pivot a bit. So it's actually not that bad in terms of articulation for a toy that was released in the 90s. But anyways, he does come with this really cool weapon, which is slightly based on something from the show, I guess. But the main weapon he actually uses in the show is this back piece here, which a lot of people kind of dubbed it like the intestine gun, just because of the way that it looks. But one major problem with the gun itself is that it doesn't really like to hold on very well in his hand, which is a bit of a shame. As you can see, it just barely holds it on. It doesn't have a relatively good grip. So that's why I don't usually display with the gun in hand. If the handle was just a bit better, since it's just this very small nub, if it was an actual peg, like this one is, it would allow it to stay in his hand, but unfortunately the way that it's designed just doesn't accommodate for that. But overall, the robot mode is very nice, and now we'll go on to the beast mode. But anyways, its transformation is rather interesting for a toy released during Beast Wars. Basically, this thing can get stuck a bit, so you just turn this around and you face it in that direction. And now you're going to have to play around with the arms in order to get them into place, because basically there's these little tabs that are going to sit inside the little empty gap inside there. So you need to fiddle around with it just a bit, because the way the arms are designed, it can get a bit frustrating trying to get them into the right locations. And as you can see, the ball joints are starting to pop out due to the age of the figure, and it's being a little bit more difficult than it should. Once you slide them in properly, you should be able to get them into place with relative ease. But as you can see, it's still kind of causing problems with, there you go, alignment issues. And then this piece is going to fill up the gap there. So now you mostly got the front of the cheetah mostly done. To finish out the front, all you need to do is move the legs here. So it looks like that. You're going to turn this entire piece around, and you're going to push up the heels, and then turn the legs so that they face this direction. So now you got him fully in cheetah mode mostly there. Just to fill out the gap at the bottom, you're going to push this back in. Just get it into place. And then you're going to take this, close it up, and you're just going to plug it into the hole that's in between there. And there you have Cheetor in his beast mode. Now, his beast mode is decent. Obviously, it's definitely not the most accurate beast mode because it's a lot chunkier than it was in the show. It was a lot skinnier, in terms of design, and a lot of the robot mode design is exposed in this mode, but there isn't much you can do since, especially when it came to the Beast Wars designs, there was a lot of animation cheats, especially with the CG graphics, that kind of made it almost impossible to get it pretty much spot on in terms of the mode. Now, same thing can be happened for a car or planes or any of the type of the regular Transformers, but for the Beast modes especially, there's a huge difference sometimes between the way that their character models in their Beast mode than there was in their robot modes because of the animation cheats. But what I really like about this version of the toy is that it does retain the green eyes, and they actually fully painted in the pupils there, so it looks really nice. He does have a really nice Maxwell symbol design on the side here. He's got all the spots like it should, and he's actually accurately painted. And unfortunately, because of the way that it was designed in the original Beast Wars toy to begin with, he does have this giant piece sticking out from his abdomen. But that's mainly because that's just how the gun is stored and so on. So yeah, it does look like he's got a giant gun sticking from the bottom of his body, but there isn't much you can do in terms of design-wise. In this mode, there is kind of articulation, but it's mostly due to transformation. His legs can move just around a bit, and pieces do pop off. I hate it when this happens, but it does happen. Pieces do pop off there. And even though these are rather tight, they kind of just turn due to transformation. And that's pretty much all you get for the Beast mode. The Beast mode is definitely not the most spectacular in terms of articulation and so on, but just in terms of design, I think it's rather decent for what they could do at the time. Even up to this day, I still prefer this toy over the really inaccurate version of the Universe one, and I think Dinobot turned out a lot better. Since this is a relatively easy and fast Transformer to play around with, we're going to transform it back into robot mode. You're going to just turn this back into the gun, since it's easier to just let him hold on to that one than the other one. You're going to turn these around. You're going to keep this straight. Pull out the heels on both sides. You're going to turn the entire waist component here. Pull out the head just a bit so you can get into there, and turn the arms. Push this piece down, it becomes the front skirt piece. Turn these around so that they're into place. And then to finish out transformation, just turn this around. And while it is kind of like this in times, in the way that it is in the instructions and so on, it's easier to just kind of slide it down all the way like this. While it does have this really weird gap, which I didn't mention earlier, that's pretty much how accurate you can get in terms of its design. Now obviously on the show, just like with Dinobot, this body piece would actually kind of sit inward so that it collapses in, but the toy cannot do that, obviously, so unfortunately there isn't much you can do there, but it does look really nice overall. I'm just going to plug the weapon back in his hand. Now overall, I still think the 10th Anniversary Cheetor is by far, personally, the best representation of the toy we got so far, which is a bit of a shame, but not at the same time, since this is a very nice toy. I do wish that Hasbro or Takara releases a proper version of Cheetor with a new updated design that will definitely far surpass the Universe design, since I just think that design looked really horrible. They tried a little bit too hard trying to make it accurate in Beast mode, and it kind of messed up the entire toy, because one, it can't even have the right weapons attached since the toy literally did not come with them, and it causes a lot of kibble in both modes by what I've seen in photos and some other reviews. So overall, sadly at this point, this is the best representation of the character release so far, but it's not that bad at the same time. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hirotaku for all in your Hero news. Also, please check out the WRW podcast at its new location, which is listed under the YouTube link below. Also, check out the other channels, and they also have some pretty great reviews up as well. And also, check me out on Twitter under Darkon633, and I'll see you on YouTube. Bye.